Now we review Those About to Die, Episode 1, Rise or Die. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard, this is Random Street Theater, and I have seen the first episode of Those About to Die, which is entitled Rise or Die. I am aware of the fact that 10 episodes have been released. This is a special request from one of my top subscribers, who is the guy that always comments on the videos, so he gets what he wants. He's very insistent that I watch this show. Anyway, for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, Those About to Die is a story set in the 1st century in ancient Rome. Okay, it's maybe 50 years, well, no. After the crucifixion, okay? Crucifixion has happened, from what I understand. And I believe this is the year 79 or something of that nature. Nero has committed suicide. 4 factions war in Rome, vying for power. The emperor and his 2 sons are having a time of it. There's a grain shortage. There have been food riots. People are starving. And they're going to be, killing some fools in the arena in order to make things more pleasant for the Romans. This was a thing that really happened. And this episode, primarily what it does is establish what things are like in Rome. For example, early on there is a scene where men who have fallen in the arena, I believe, they're not necessarily dead yet, but they're there. One of them is still alive. And they're sold to the people there to feed to tigers. It's human beings have no sanctity after death. The body is something you can simply sell. It shows the brutality of Rome. There is another scene early on that sets up what I believe is going to be a major plot point, where a Roman legionnaire tries to brutalize 2 local women in Africa. The women resist, kill the legionnaire. They become slaves of Rome. Their brother apparently also captures a white lion for Rome, works for the Romans, and he is going to the same place that his sisters are going. There is more to that plot thread. I don't want to give it away if you are going to watch this. But yeah, okay, so what's going on here? Rome is populated by dickholes. These are people that value a Roman life above all other lives. Romans can basically do anything they want to people who are non-Romans. This is something we know from history. Rome itself is not this shining city on a hill. It's a city where things are barely hanging on. The empire is troubled. The people are starving. There's horrible poverty, and the rich live in extreme wealth. This episode is violent, lecherous, and there's a lot of gratuitous nudity in here. I don't know if it's terribly period accurate, because I was told that privacy wasn't a big thing in ancient Rome. And, it was not uncommon for, people to be banging and, their kids have to go through their parents' room to use the bathroom or wherever it is. I'm not exactly sure when the hallway was invented, but apparently there was a time in Rome where the hallway was not a thing. Rome was around for a while, though. So, maybe this was a BC thing. I don't know. Anyway, so, understand this much, that because of my own heritage, I've never been a fan of Romans. I understand big part of history, There's a lot of things to be learned from the Romans in terms of like tactics and such. I should get some sleep, but I mean, I watched this because I was asked to watch this. It's kind of middle of the watch list for me. I mean, yes, okay, I enjoy nudity. I like seeing pretty girls naked, but you don't really get to know them, and the spectacle is not terribly there. There's a reasonable depiction of Rome and them putting on a front for the audience. And I mean, I've heard of all these things before. There's not a lot new going on. Yeah, okay. If you're not familiar with these topics, yes, okay. The Romans are nasty people and they do nasty things to people, and you are hoping they're going to get some comeuppance. That's what you're left with this episode. It basically establishes the world. That's primarily what's going on here. It's world building. Probably the highlight is at the end, or close to the end. You see the chariot races, and these are particularly brutal. I will say that the CG on the line wasn't that great, but they kind of hide that by having it more of a background and being obscured somewhat. So there's that. And yeah, I mean, this is perfectly serviceable for people who have a high tolerance for violence and want to see a lot of nudity. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, really. I wasn't the biggest fan of Game of Thrones. I don't know why those things just don't interest me. I will, however, say that Those About to Die seems to have a lot of moving parts to it. So, I mean, it's going to take you some time to understand which group is which and who is who. Those things are not 100% established in this episode. You know that there are 4 factions. They talk about there being 4 factions. There's a lot of commerce going on and a big subplot about people not having enough grain, which was a big problem in Rome. That was what eventually destroyed Rome. So yeah, I mean, you know, again, this particular thing, it's not my cup of tea. Serviceable, definitely enjoyable if you like this sort of thing, but you know, if I had not been asked to review this, I would not have sought this out. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I, of course, am Richard.
Randall the Rat here, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. And why should you do that? Well, look over here. These are bracelets from 4Ocean. Each one of them means a pound of trash was pulled out of the ocean. And this channel buys one for every 1,000 subscribers it gets. And this around my neck, well, this is a medal from the Conqueror. It represents walking around the Great Pyramids of Giza. You can get one for yourself by going to the Conqueror challenges.com and saying, hey, I want to pretend I walked around the pyramids of Giza without dealing with all the sweat and flies and delicious scarab beetles. Or you could support this channel so they can buy more of these, which means that they will plant trees, because each one of these represents 5 trees that got planted. Yeah, that's right, 5 trees helping your environment. Global warming sucks. Be a good person, comment, like, and subscribe. Give us more money so that we can plant trees by buying medals from the Conqueror. Randall out.